Today, I'm talking to Jeri. Jeri went through school overweight, feeling unwell, and unable to concentrate at all. All that changed when Jeri eventually found keto and subsequently carnivore. If you enjoy this video, please remember to smash like and also subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll leave the link to Patreon in the description for this video. Let's meet Jeri. You find the carnivore diet?
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for having me. To come to the carnivore diet, like many other people, it's been like a long journey, And if I go back, I used to be like, I'm like 5'6", so I'm not a very big person. But I was 105 kg, so you can imagine that's like unbelievable for my frame. So I tried many diets, on and off, all these low calorie diets, and it never worked. And interestingly, like when I was in my high school and even before that, I was always overweight, but no one even in my family, my friend, in my school, no one even like in a good way, pointed out that this could cause health issues or can cause problems in my performance. For instance, when I was at school, I had this problem, I didn't have a memory problem, but I could not, concentrate for a longer time. If I would be reading or have an assignment to do some English literature, 10, 15, 20 minutes at most, and I would get exhausted. I remember I have headaches. I cannot like focus. I would come and discuss with my mom, and they would always say I'm lazy, and that I'm not trying enough. And I will tell them that I cannot because I have a problem. I get tired. I have a lot of fatigue, and as a child growing up as a kid, so I would of course think what they are telling me is true, and I don't even blame them because what they learn from their elders and from the media, that's what they are like saying. So I didn't even identify that I have more than a weight issue, that I have other issues with me. So as the journey progressed, so when I was 18, I in my school, in my college, I all of a sudden experienced heart pain. It was severe heart pain, and the feeling I can even describe it was one of the unusual experience. But I really felt so much pain, and I thought I'm going to die on the spot. And then and it was back then it was so difficult to even talk to the teachers to convince them that there's a problem, right? They would be so military in their attitude. So eventually they allowed me to go, and my mom took me to the doctor, uh, to the registered doctor of our family. So he didn't even ask that. I was super fat, I was so fat, and he was like just talking about the medicines, like what medicine we can give. Did you have this pain before? And I don't know what the devices he just put on me, uh, and he said, no, you're doing fine, there's no problem. And maybe it was an illusion, or maybe you're overthinking, you have stress, all of that. And then he recommended me to have ice cream and have some pancakes, and just have he didn't even recommend me to have a test. He was like, no, it's just a feeling. And so the point is what I'm covering, that from my childhood to adult age to the college when I was 18, I had these problems. The heart problem was once in a while, and usually it's my fatigue factor. I had a lot of fatigue. I can walk. I was very good when I was 10, 12 in football, I remember. It's not a self-praise, but I think I was good. I was told by the people. And I really wanted to pursue it as a passion. I'm still passionate about this game. And I remember I can play it because of course I was so obese, and I can't perform. But no one even talked that it's related to diet. It's related to some other things. So the lazy tag, you're lazy and you can't do it. You don't have the motivation. So after like maybe 19 or 20, then I started on my own to think about diet, right? And then when I went to the internet and to the other whoever I can reach. So it was always like eat less and move more, right? Eat less and move more. And I did that. And I did that a couple of times, maybe 5, 6, 7 times before I eventually came to the right diet. And it does help in the first maybe a week or two with maybe the water weight, or of course you're eating less, you're moving more, so it will give you a good feel. But then it's not sustainable, right? Because you're not taking anything, and you're overworking, and eventually you're hungry all the time. You're hungry all the time, so it never worked. And yeah, so I almost gave up on this idea, and I thought, okay, I'm like this, you know. Even my family and friends said it's okay. Some people are like this. You tried to play sports, you tried to go to the gym, you tried to go for a walk or to a jog, but uh, it's okay, you did your best, you know. So I didn't you're getting the point. I didn't even get a single good input, you know. That's something I still look back and say, wow, you know, a lot of wasted years. And you know, and then, like, you know, I had pre-diabetes when I had my tests, and had pre-diabetes and some I didn't have a like severe heart problem, but there was a lot of there was certain uh, test which I don't recall, you know, which showed there's a huge chance, and there's some initial plugging, and then it's like I'm just there, you know. I have a problem, and if I don't control, so they recommended me to go on a low-fat diet. Then, first time in my life, after all this thing, maybe I was 26, 27 at the time. They recommended me to go on a low-fat diet, exercise more, and I remember they put me in a program, a high intensity interval training program. And now I know what it is, you know. But that high, so-called high intensity interval training was a 1 hour program in which you don't rest. Maybe you rest 4 or 5 times for a minute. And someone who is not accustomed to it just come on the program, and with all the different people with different body type, different background, different physicalities, they're doing the same thing. And I remember 15, 20, 25 minutes into it, I went to the instructor, and she was from a very good instructor from South Africa. So, but of course, what she's been told, she's doing it. So she said, no, it's okay. I said, I can breathe. I just cannot move anymore, because I barely walked before that, you know. I tried some stuff, but just imagine 105 kg, or maybe you can relate it to a 6 feet guy. It might be what, uh, 150, 130 kg or what, is trying to all of a sudden in a high intensity program, and I have severe headaches. So the thing is that I couldn't continue that program, right? I left that, and I tried many things, and no one told me, no one in family, in my friends, in the media, when I look. And then this time came when obesity is being celebrated, and now it's celebrated more and more on every magazine. And so I suffered a lot. The suffering was now let's come to what I had, what issues I faced as far as health is concerned. I had severe headaches, as I said, and the headache was unbelievable, like severe migraines, you know, 3 or 4 times a week when I wake up for hours and hours, till from morning till early afternoon, or sometimes late afternoon, evening. The migraines were so intense, I could still remember that the pain would not go away. And you know, when you move your head, there's this thing that comes, this movement that your whole brain is moving. And I suffered that, and I experienced that for 20 more plus years throughout my life, you know, until my 30s, late 30s. I'm 42 right now. So so all of that, you know, I suffered. I had problems in my school and university. I still did very well, but I know I could not give enough time, as I told you, because I could not read, I could not sit down, I was always fatigued. And yeah, so all of these things. But the doctor or family or friends, or no one even pointed out. Someone, of course, was like, you should lose weight, but no one really talked about the root cause. And so I was also getting all the information, and I was not really thinking. I thought, okay, it's like this. So maybe I'm a lazy person. Maybe this is my optimal level, or I will live a mediocre life. And okay, that's fine. So I completely then given up, right? completely given up. So now, how I discovered the carnivore diet, it's then from 2011, 12. I'm talking up till that time, till 2018. Like nothing changed. All of the circle kept repeating again and again, and then in 2018, like I, it was just like I was sitting in front of YouTube. Th- that's my earliest memory, like how it started. I don't remember the entire detail, and I was feeling good. It was a good day. I met some wonderful person, and I thought, let's do something about my health. Again, after many years of not doing anything because I did everything and it went in circles, and I opened the internet. I don't remember what I typed, but somehow I landed to the ketogenic videos, and that was the most amazing day of my life. So ketogenic videos, and I remember the talk. I forgot her full name. And Nina, the great journalist Nina, she had this book.
Nina Teicholz.
Yes, exactly. The Big Fat Surprise. So I came across her presentation that she did on the Big Fat Surprise on a low carb uh, channel, and that was eye opening. At the time I started studying data analytics, I was very new into that. So at the time I was whatever I used to come across, I usually dig deep, try to go into the research. So she provided very compelling, eye-opening evidence with the Big Fat Surprise, and it truly struck me right away. Right away, I can associate the information, and I bought into it right from the start till the end about the diet, sorry, about the fat and how the fat is being villainized and how the information of the food pyramid, which I'm a victim of because I studied that triangular food pyramid with carbohydrates at the bottom is the most important thing. So that she told me is not even the research and how it came about, and then she went into the biology and how cholesterol and all these fats and it's important for the brain and all these things. So I got the whole point. And for me, a person like me, if I get the science, if I get the philosophy, and it stuck me, then I'm really motivated exponentially. And right away, and then I researched some other videos, and I came across Dr. Eric Burke, I think, and then of course all of our favorites, our favorite Dr. Berry. He's like one of our favorites, who is an excellent speaker as well, a great motivator. So I tried to see, okay, what it does, what it does. The ketogenic diet and how to go about it, and it was easy to understand. And I started eventually, and in a day or two, I was trying to figure out what to eat, what not to eat, and then I finally understood the plan. So yeah, for me, it took only 3 days to adapt to it. For some people, it's a longer time. Maybe, as I said, I was motivated, excited, and the first time I really believed that this is something that we should do. And it took me 3 days. I didn't feel any keto flu. I was going every day on the weighing machine, and of course, it was the water weight that was coming off. So how I started was 12 and 6. I was doing IF as well. With the videos, I learned about intermittent fasting, and I was from the first day, like an obese person, all of his life he couldn't achieve the health. He couldn't improve his health, and the next day he's on a ketogenic diet, doing IF 12 and 6. And the most the 3 days. What I said is like 3 days. I didn't feel. I didn't feel it as a challenge or something that was difficult, but after 3 days, it was a walk in the park. That's what I'm trying to say. And for 3 days, the first 3 days, I did suffer. Of course, I did suffer a bit, eating carbohydrates, eating 8 times a day, by the way, with snacks included, all around 24-hour snacks, chocolates, soft drinks, ice creams, throughout my life, 7, 8 times a day, 3 snacks, 4 meals, and then next day you are 12-6. But I was following the science. I was like, okay, I'm leaving carbohydrates and I'm going into a ketogenic state and I'm including healthy fats. And I love butter and cheese, and I was told not to eat butter and cheese whenever, I had in dialogue with the doctor and stuff like that, or having a meal with the family or friends. That I remember, because I was fat, and we go to the restaurants, Subway or other places, and they would always say, "Don't include cheese." And I was now is all my life not to have cheese, not to have cheese because it will make me fat. So the thing is, and I love butter and cheese always, but I didn't consume it, you know. And then in this program, I was like, when I went into the detail and the theory and the science, that we'll delve later into that, if we should have a lot of butter and cheese. But you're getting the point. When I was starting that, butter and cheese won't be a problem in the ketogenic diet, right? So I was also, it made me excited, right? And so yeah, so my meals were butter and cheese, steaks, eggs, and a little bit non-starchy vegetable salad in late 2018. So the thing is, to make it quick, I mean, to wind this thing up, I never felt hungry. The only key is that I never feel hungry from the start. As I said, 3 days is normal. When you're changing a complete different paradigm, it's very normal to feel a little bit hungry, anxious, but only 3 days. And then the thing is that I never felt hungry. I don't have to look to someone. I don't have to ask for someone for confirmation. It was my mind and it was my body, because I felt full. Fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, eating 12 and 6, eating enough, not a lot, not less, not trying to restrict calories. And all of a sudden, like, it's not like in a day or two, but all of a sudden, it's maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the headache started to really go away, which was there for 20 years. And I think, if I'm not wrong, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, the headaches, the migraines completely went away. And I was like, wow. And as I said, throughout that time, I was losing weight a little bit every 2, 3 days. And that the first point where I was getting excited was the weight. We start with the weight, but later we found out that's the tip of the iceberg, right? And I was losing weight, and then I was feeling better. I could walk. At the time, I had a lot of problem in my knees. If I walk, I have a lot of pain, and that went away. The arthritis issue went away, and 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 literally, like, I was feeling younger. I was feeling more, I had more energy. And yeah, one thing, when I used to wake up every day before this diet, it took me, when I put the alarm off, it would take me 30 minutes, even 40 minutes to get up, sometimes 50 minutes, because I don't have the energy. And literally, from after 10 or maybe 15 days going into this diet, I I won't say I jumped from the bed, but I maybe a minute or two, like, it would be very easy. And at the time, I was doing my master's in the data analytics, and I remember in the last semester, when I was doing this diet, that I used to feel super fresh. I would go to the timing was 9 to 12 of the class, and I wouldn't eat anything, right? Because I eat at 12. I remember looking at students, and they're like so hungry and so tired and always thinking about food. And I was like, then I started thinking, why are they hungry? It doesn't make any sense to me. What is hunger? Hunger is a thing of the past. Now I meet my friend, and we have this song, Hunger is a Thing of the Past. We try to enjoy the song. And then I understand the science, the ghrelin, and how ketones work and stuff like that. So it was an amazing transformation, and not just the weight loss. I still have to lose. Now I'm like 77 kg. It should be 70, 72 for my height, but it's what, 23, 28 kg. So it's a lot of weight that's gone. More than the weight, more than the weight. The thing is that it transformed the health. It made me feel great, and I haven't eaten, like, what now, in 15 hours, and I'm fresh. I'm talking to you. I have a lot of energy, and even if I sleep less, I have a lot of energy. And now, to the carnivore diet, I maintained the ketogenic diet for a long time, and just in 2000, sorry, 2020 or 2021, when COVID hit again in the second wave, I somehow lost track, unfortunately, but not for a long time. Not for a long time. And I promised myself it won't happen again. So 2 years back, 2.5 years back, in the lockdown, kind of lost track and not went back to that. No, I was always motivated, but I was not strictly, you can say, following this diet. So eventually I can see things coming back to an extent because I had developed the metabolic flexibility. And then thank goodness that quickly I realized, and I had the passion and everything of this philosophy of this diet and this lifestyle. So I came back because I would always talk to my friends about this. So I came back quickly because I was on the spotlight. I put myself on the spotlight with university friends, with the office colleagues, with even the restaurants or the cafes over here. I go, it's a great thing. They recognize me. It's like a low carb person is here. So I was like, no, I will disappoint the people. And it gave me motivation to come back. And now to the carnivore diet, it's the same thing because all of these great people, I would say, and I thank them, including you, who have transformed our lives significantly, and now have developed trust with all these people, especially Dr. Ken Berry. So I say he moved to the carnivore diet. I didn't move to the carnivore diet because he moved, because he still like, and you and everyone, we know that ketogenic is as good, if maybe not as good as carnivore, but I'll come to that later in another question or in a discussion later in this video. But what I'm trying to say is that ketogenic is I'll say is, if someone has to do carnivore or keto, or he'll say no, I'll do keto or else I'll do something else. I'll say just do keto for the rest of your life. You got the point, right? So it's as good. Of course, there are some things which we think we should not include. So I kept on, because I got an avid fan, and I kept on my free time researching, looking at the videos, looking at the articles. So I said, all these people are now on carnivore diet, and Dr. Ken Berry, and even your good friend Dr. Shafi from Perth. And I saw this video. First, I was laughing, that the way he said plants are trying to kill you. He says it beautifully. No one can. So I looked into his video and low carb down under. Right? He did that in other presentations. And then again, as he said, I get fascinated with the data and research. And like, okay, there's something. But you know how we are brainwashed, or how the human brain works. It takes a lot of time to accept something if it is hardwired. Even though I was keto, I was like, maybe I should. I was only having non-starchy vegetables, right? I was not in keto. I was like mostly carnivore, but like ketovore, how Ken Berry's wife coded. But I was having avocado, non-starchy vegetables, some nuts. That's it. Mostly it was meat or cheese or eggs. And then I was like, why I'm being rigid? I asked myself why I'm being rigid. I can try. It's the same thing. It's just a step ahead. It's not. I have moved from the standard Western diet to ketogenic, and carnivore is just not maybe eating a little bit plants that I eat, or nuts. Fruit I have already left. There is no fruit in ketogenic apart from avocado. So, and then I said, well, I should be the first person who should at least try it, right? Because the way I have developed my thinking. And then I tried, and then I saw, and everyone again was telling me that you're totally crazy and stuff like that. But it was easy. It was a very easy transition because I only left one salad in a day that I eat. I already was not eating a lot of nuts, the macadamia nuts and uh, almonds. So I just left them. I was not having any fruit. So it was like just removing a little bit to come to this, because then it was eggs, steak, fish, and cheese and butter I was already having. So, and I said to myself, okay, no problem. I'll just have this. I already am ketogenic. And if for some reason it won't suit me, I'll go back there. And that's a safe bet, right? It's nothing to lose. And in a week, then I saw my brain, like, it in ketogenic, it was already like working amazing. Like, I felt I have a new brain when I started keto, because I can think, I can, and I forgot to tell you that now I can like sit and work for hours, without getting tired. I can focus, not trying to make it look out of the equation, or I can really, like, at the age I am, I can sometimes, people in 20s, they are surprised that I have more energy, I can focus more. And so, yeah, that's how I came to carnivore. And it was 8 months ago. And to our viewers who are listening, I want to make it clarify that sometimes they think, oh, I'm just here for 8 months. I'm trying to talk on this topic. No, 8 months on carnivore diet. So I'm already like low carb, as I say, or keto for more than 4 years. So or almost 4 years. So basically, I'm talking of the diet that is 4 years long with a little bit variation going to the keto carnivore diet. So in this diet, what I felt that I have more energy. And if I have, sometimes I'm busy, if I even sleep 3 4 hours, and I won't recommend anyone, not even myself, to sleep 3 4 hours. But if I have to, sometimes I'm busy, or sometimes for whatever reason I cannot sleep, or I get excited for some work or some project, uh, I'm fresh. It's not affecting me. And the cognitive functionality is gone through the roof. So yeah, I see further change, further improvements with going to carnivore. And the stomach is thanking me more, the stomach is happy. So basically, this is my journey. I've maybe presented in a very long way because I was passionate, and I tried to cover all the key points, key data points. So try to give a holistic idea of this journey. And yeah, so that's how I came to the diet, and now it's something that I relish and I enjoy it and celebrate every day.
That's awesome. So, so many good results, and so good to hear that you've benefited from both keto and carnivore over the last 4 years. So, um, the I think the biggest question I've got for you straight off the bat is, what is the biggest difference that you feel there is between when you were doing keto and now that you're carnivore? Is there one particular big thing you go, yeah, that's really different?
Mm. If I have to only choose one, as far as the health is concerned or the overall lifestyle.
And
Okay,
maybe, yeah, health, how you feel in yourself, but then maybe something that's changed about your life as well.
yeah, I feel more energy, even more energy than I felt at the ketogenic diet, and it's definitely has to do with removing the plants and other and the nuts, I would say, because it's not only me. We have a lot of testimonies of people, so I can confirm that. I can concur with that, and I feel a lot of more energy. And the cognitive, if I have to name one thing, is the cognition. It has gone through the roof. I mean, I discuss with my family and friends, and still they can believe it. Think they're thinking that this, and I look to them, and I was like, you never know. You haven't even tried, right? So yeah, I have tremendous focus. Not I, and all of us have tremendous focus. Mental cognition is really high. I don't get tired. Of course, I'm a human being. I'll get tired. What I mean is that if I operate in the normal hours in the day, 8, 10, 12 hours, 15 hours, even if I work more, study more, do anything else, talk, dance, I have energy. I don't have to over try anything. I don't have to exert energy into thinking, into reading, into using calculation and using formulas or difficult task. So if you ask, since you asked me to name one thing, of course there are others. So I would say cognitive functionality, the cognition, the memory, it went to another level on the carnivore diet.
Nice. So you talked about your family.
Yeah.
They're still kind of feeling like you're crazy. This is just not normal, not possible.
That's a great question, and I told them before this interview that I will talk on this, and you asked me, so you given me a platform for that. Yeah, they do. Now I live alone, of course, for many years. So when I meet them, uh, I meet them once a week. So my parents, they are still doing well, and of course they have some medical issues, uh, and it hurts me. It hurts me a lot because I try to tell them. My father is diabetic, and I anyhow that would get a little emotional. So I try to tell them. I try to tell them in a good way. I don't push anyone to try, at least try it. And I tell he's having all this medication and stuff like that, and I was like, It's so difficult for me to comprehend around it. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's still like after all these years, and they're happy with the weight loss, right? And they are very happy, and they are proud of it, and they share it with all their friends and family that if you have to lose weight, you talk to me. But they don't talk about, they are not doing it themselves, and they still think I'm crazy. Yes, they still think I'm crazy because I eat, according to them, I eat less, which I don't, because I eat less frequent. That's a different thing, right? The 15, 16 to 18 hours. I'm not fasting now in the way I was fasting before. Yeah, that's another thing. In carnivore, you won't require typical. In keto, fasting would help to be in ketosis, right? In carnivore, you eat enough and you have the same energy. It's a fast, like, because I'm eating twice a week, but I don't have to be like 12/6. It could be 12/10, right? It's the same food, maybe 12-hour fast, 14-hour fast. Sometimes it could be 20-hour fast. So it just depends on the mood and the energy. So yeah, they think I'm nuts, and not only my family and my friends, they don't believe this philosophy, and I don't push anyone, but they can see whenever some of my friends and my family members, cousins and other people who live abroad, sometimes I visit them, they come to visit me. Every time, if I have the opportunity, I'm talking about this diet. So for the 4 or 5 years, they know I just talk about this. Unless they have something else to talk about, I don't talk about anything else. Just this. They can see the passion overflowing. They say you are just talking about it. I said I love it. I just love it. I want to talk about it. And I present all the theory, the evidence, good scientific videos, and try to explain them the science behind it. They are worried about the cholesterol, the heart attack. I'm eating butter, I will die. So that's crazy in a way. That is crazy. But it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me because I know I'm doing the right thing. If anything, if people are more engaged, it feels, I would maybe feel happier that people around me are into this. But the good thing is we have this community, we have the internet, we have people like you, all the peoples I mentioned. So it gives me a lot of power. Thanks to you, and hope you guys are always here. It gives me a lot of power. If I need any motivation, if I need that, I when I talk to people and they didn't listen to me, first of all, I'm strong because if you have the evidence is myself, right? So I don't feel demotivated, but now I'm very strong. Initially, I used to, but now it doesn't affect me. But again, as I said, I have this wonderful community, and I think the important thing is we should be together. We should be together, and that's how we can move in the future.
Nice. And that's a good point. How important do you think the community has been in keeping you focused on the diet? For example, if there was no YouTube videos about this, you just read about it and you tried it and it worked, do you think you would have adhered as strictly to the diet?
I don't think so. I think it's all, I'll think credited to the community, to the power of the community. Yeah. If it was just somewhere I read and tried, maybe I could have, but I needed this support, and I think everyone does, right? And yeah, so this community is so lovely, and everyone who is in this community, who is genuinely on this community, most of the people, they are here with a passion and they want to help people. The one thing I've noticed is they genuinely want to help people, and they are presenting with the hard facts, and the love around is second to none. If someone even wants to feel loved, you just come to this. Either you call it low carb, keto, carnivore. We're all friends, right? The last thing is that we find a fight between keto and carnivore. Sometimes I do, and I think this is also important for me to talk, because we shouldn't push people to push. We shouldn't push anyone for anything. But the thing is, anyone who is low carb is a part of it. If someone is keto, no problem. It doesn't have to come to carnivore, because eh, they are doing the right thing. They are eating a diet that is, let's say, 98% optimal. Maybe it will be 100% with carnivore, or someone who is not even keto or low carb. That's fine. So that's why I use myself. Of course, we are carnivores, but a low carb community, because all of them come together, and we have to come together. So uh, uh, we don't have to get in an exchange with someone who is eating, let's say, non-starchy veg, because I know. There's a point there, but the point of Dr. Shafi, and I appreciate it. I appreciate him a lot, is to go to the next level. But for 99% of this population, if you are eating non-starch vegetables and eating a great diet of protein, fat, that's amazing. Just stick to it, right?
Yeah, very well said. I think, this is the kind of community that, carnivore is perhaps the optimal that we should be aiming for, but we're all we're all aiming for the same thing, and that's to get what is poisonous to our body out of our body, right?
And that's
So
correct.
whatever level that happens to be. Yeah. So speaking of that, how is your diet now? Like, how many times do you generally eat in a day, and what are you eating at each meal?
Yeah, so it varies a little. The good thing about carnivore is that you don't have to. In ketogenic, again, I'm not trying to put ketogenic. I love it because if I'm here because of the ketogenic diet. So, and it works. Keto works well, and people who are at keto just stick to keto. So yeah, for carnivore, I don't have to worry about the schedule. So it's usually what I'm eating right now is once or twice a day. That's it. Because I'm full. I don't need any more meal. And what I'm eating is usually I'm eating twice a day, sometimes even once a day. And usually I will have steak and fish. Over here we have salmon sashimi, So it's I like this raw fish and eggs. And I'm not having cheese now. Sometimes in a while, not because it has any issue or because when I come to carnivore, I think I'm getting enough nutrients, right? I know that some people, I think I listened to your video and also some other people, they have removed cheese to because maybe it's stopping from the weight loss, further weight loss. But I'm having butter, a lot of butter, and and yeah, and I do have coffee, by the way, sometimes, in which I'll add butter. So that's the only planting that is coming. And again, some people would argue that I shouldn't have coffee, and I agree with them that I shouldn't have in 100% carnivore lifestyle. But again, we don't have to pick these small points and argue because my point or the journey of suffering I led in my life, I want this community to stay together. These are things that really don't matter. What we should stay rather than we talk about, we should talk about it, there's no problem, but we shouldn't go in a way that we talk about this, should we have coffee or not, and then we go back to the standard American diet, right? So it's okay to be a little here and there. Little. I'm not saying to cheat. I'm against that. But okay, someone is having coffee, no problem. It's okay. It's okay for them, right? And the reason why I have it, it's just to kill the boredom sometime because it's a routine kind of a thing. So I am talking to someone or if there's a meeting. So I'll just have it, It's and I can leave it in the future. Maybe I'll try, but not. I still do consume coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got the coffee in my diet as well, and I kind of look at the coffee as you just talked about. It's one of those things where I probably should get it out of my diet. I'd probably do better without it. But I also see it as kind of the lesser of two evils. Like if I'm out at with friends, um, and I've got the option of having a black coffee in the restaurant or the cafe where I am, then there's much more likelihood of me just sticking to having that black coffee than, being tempted by the beer that they're having or something like that.
That's correct.
So, yeah. When you were discussing, I think it was when you were talking about your family before, one of the things you said is you don't have to worry about now that you're on carnivore, you don't have to worry about ketosis. And so is that you're not kind of focused at all on whether you're in ketosis or not in ketosis?
Initially, it was a point that led me to stay away from carnivore for a while because, and we all felt in love with the concept of ketos, and it's a great concept. And of course when we are in carnivore, and I was like, I did have this reservation, and I thought about it, but I looked into the data, and right now it's like for this, I'm not too sure, because if we look at different people either presenting the data or talking on it, sometimes they say you are in ketosis in the carnivore diet, and some people would say, or some data would indicate you are not. But initially, it used to bother me a bit. But then I said, let's see my performance, how I'm doing. So if I'm, as I told you, I'm operating in a more better way, I'm more efficient at work, I have more energy. So that's how, and that's why that concept went away. If I'm in ketosis or not, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Maybe having more protein. The science does say having more protein kicks you out of ketosis, which is the best available data right now. So it probably kicks us out of ketosis. But then again, in carnivore, I think the mechanism is completely different. Ketosis is a state where you are constantly like in ketosis. We might be in that state on and off, and it's a great observation. And I'm still looking into it. But again, as the doctors and people on this in this community said, that it's something that we should not worry about. And if you allow me, I'll ask you the same. What do you think on this subject? Because yeah,
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, it's because of the way I feel about it. That's the reason I asked you the question. So, the way I feel about it is that if you think too much about ketosis, it gets you into this kind of negative dopamine seeking cycle. So 20 something years ago is the first time that I tried out Atkins. And, I've been on and off Atkins and keto and stuff like that since then until I got to carnivore. And especially early on, I was very focused on I've got to be in ketosis. I've got to be in ketosis. And if I used those testing strips and it showed I was in strong ketosis, I was like, that was my dopamine hit. That was like getting those little notification buttons on your Facebook or whatever on your phone. And I would be like, oh, so happy. But then if I used the testing strip and it was weak or nothing, then it was like depression sets in. And it's just you get into this negative cycle, and that negative cycle, I feel, can also make you go, oh, this is just not working. I'm just going to go back to a regular diet.
that's great.
Yeah. So I don't think about it at all now.
Same here. I think it's a fuel. It's a source of fuel, and if you are doing that diet, then the only way you can be succeed is to be in that state. And carnivore, I think it's not even a requirement to be in this, and we are flexible, right? And even if we are not in ketosis, it doesn't mean that we are running on. Let's say we are consuming extra sugar, right? So it's just a different state to be in ketosis, where the body is using ketone instead of glucose. So if you are in carnivore diet, the whole proximity, the whole functionality is it's different. It's a different mechanism. So that's what I understood. So again, since the results are great, so we don't have to worry about that.
Mm. Mm. So one of the things that you talked about was how your concentration is much improved. Your focus and concentration is much better, especially at work. Do you mind talking about what kind of work you do?
Yeah, I am a data analyst, and the work requires looking into data sets, different data for whatever work it may be. It could be related to health, sports, and you have to use the technology, the softwares to go into and delve really deep into finding the. For instance, if you're working for a management firm and they ask the how we can optimize the performance of the employees, and they give us the last 2 years data, so we have to look into it, the performance and the metrics, and go into the case studies and ask relevant questions, come up with a hypothesis, and present data driven solution. So it requires a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy and focus. So that's like an amazing thing that I can do, because I can even, as I said, read 2 pages in my school or even my university. I would get tired. So yeah.
Nice. And where are you currently living?
Yeah, in Bangkok, in Thailand.
And what is it like there if you want to go out and you want to get a carnivore meal? Is it pretty easy to get that kind of food at restaurants there?
Yes, it is easy. Although most of the people, like every other country, are eating more carbohydrates, but they eat a lot of meat over here in Thailand. I think same in Japan. So there are a lot of steak restaurants and restaurants offering raw fish and stuff like that. So it will be easy for you to find a restaurant with this having steaks. And for me, it's like because I've been living for a long time, so uh, and now people know me. So I have developed some relationship with the owners, and they themselves notice that I'm eating a different kind of a diet. When they bring steak, there's no bread or other stuff. So they asked me. They got interested and they asked questions, and that's how I try to tell them, even ask them. Before I was a little bit shy to ask them, and then since they were interested, I even asked them, what oils are you using, because that's a very important thing. It shouldn't be vegetable oil. And that's how, they told me they use olive extra virgin olive oil. That's better, of course. So yeah, so it's easier over here to find a lot of restaurants, and for me it's better because I have developed some relationship, and I can even discuss with them the oils what they're using, or sometimes I can ask them to use something for me.
So when you kind of look into the future, is this it for you? Like you see this as it's carnivore diet all the way now for the rest of your life?
Yes, that is it. This is it. And again, I'll say we are in a low carb community. So if let's say once a year I'll have avocado, maybe it's a possibility, right? Once or twice a year, or uh, maybe some coconut oil and something, So, but you got the point that it's the low carb, close to, almost close to carnivore for most of the times. And sometime if I eat some other thing, it's low carb, right? It would be low carb. But definitely I don't want to go back, and the only reason is because I've suffered a lot all these years, and it's like I have a new life now at 43. I feel I'm 23, because for me, I think now the life started, because I didn't enjoy my life in the 20s and 30s and even in my teens. So for me now, it's a new start for the last few years, and this thing has given me it's like a huge blessing. It's like a jackpot, honestly, and it excites me every day. This is something that gives me a tremendous motivation and happiness. So yeah, I'm very sincere to it, and I respect the community, and yeah, and I hope that this interview would help people to understand about this diet, and to take out their fears, and to really understand the science. And the point is to help people, and if my interview helped someone, I will be very happy with this.
So last question. If let's say one of your colleagues comes to you and says, "Look, Jerry, I've noticed the last few years you've got more energy, you're more effective at work, you're looking better. Um, I've just been to the doctor. The doctor's just given me bad news. I'm pre-diabetic. I'm, heading the wrong way health-wise. What can I do?" What would you recommend?
Yeah, of course, I would recommend him the low carb diet to my friend, and because I know through my experience, through the testimonies of many people and the groups I have joined on different spaces, that it doesn't, not only it works, it's backed by science. So if a friend of mine comes and asks me that he's pre-diabetic, and the doctor has told him all of this stuff, so I'll tell him, I'll give him my best opinion. I'll give him the honest opinion, and I'll try to tell him that what I'll try to tell him is that don't go and listen to the doctor if he's prescribing you medicines, right? Because it is completely reversible, 100% in most cases, in most of the cases. So, and for pre-diabetic, it's not even an issue. For even diabetic, it's reversible in maybe 95%, if not more. So I'll try to tell him because I care for him, and I'll try to tell him in a very humble way, and that it's about your life. Just try it for even 2 weeks or a month, and just see your numbers. The numbers will be different. You don't have to go for the medication or anything else.
Very nice. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave, for having me, and it's a pleasure. And I hope this community grows and we all stick together. And this is a very loving community. Thank you so much.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.